today's edition of Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Diocesan Media Center, 29 Marina, Lagos. It's 16 minutes gone past the hour of 9. Today, Friday, the 14th day of March 2025. Of course, I am ANOSIKE CHIMEZIE, welcoming you to today's edition of the program. Yes, today, still in the mood of the celebration of the International Women's Day. Yeah, we'll be talking about accelerating women advancement, workplace violence, and intimate partner violence. Remember last week, it was all about breaking barriers, women, the law, and the fight for equal rights. You know, jokingly, some people will say the Women's Day, we keep on celebrating them day in, day out, and no time for the men. And this morning, yes, we have Barrister DORCAS ABAH in the studio. She is the Publicity Secretary of FIDA, Lagos branch. FIDA is International Federation of Women Lawyers. Barrister, good morning and welcome to the program.
Morning, CHIMEZIE.
Okay, of course, Barrister YEWANDE DEJI-OMOTAYO will be joining us soon on the program. Okay, let's get into it. When you hear the name FIDA, what does FIDA stand for? The International Federation of Women Lawyers. What do they do?
Okay, thank you so very much for the introduction, and thank you, our dear listeners. So FIDA is International Federation of Women Lawyers, and FIDA is a non-governmental organization that promotes, protects, and preserve the rights of women and children in our society. FIDA, as of today, we have 46 branches across the 36 states in Nigeria. So it's a large community of women, practicing the legal profession. So our key major activities are in FIDA. So we have legal clinics, which holds in FIDA Lagos every Thursday, beginning from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we carry out our activities through legal aid and representation. So these are free legal services for women and children across the 36 states in Nigeria. We also advocate for women's rights, women and children's rights through policy. We engage with policy makers, even to the highest level in Nigeria, in advancing the cause of women and children. We also carry out public awareness and advocacy program, educating the people on their rights and the advancement of women. And then we have a shelter in Abuja where women or children who are, going through some, forms of violence, have a place to secure their life. And then a host of other activities we are engaged with at FIDA. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, having said that now, let's look at, because the focus, you can see now the focus is majorly on women. Now, when we talk about accelerating women advancements, what do we mean by accelerating women advancement?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, the International Women's Day theme for this year is a remarkable one. And over the course of this month, we've been going to different, radio stations and every other media houses to, advocate for the advancement for the rights of women. So when we talk about the advocating for the advancement of women's rights, we talk about legal frameworks, creating legal frameworks that, that encourages or that speak more on the rights of women. Legal framework, like in Nigeria, we have the VAP Act. VAP Act is Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. So this particular work of art is not yet in circulation in the whole federation. We still have some states that have not adopted this particular legislation. And then we when we talk about advancing the cause of women, we also would be talking about establishing other legal contexts or legal policies And when we are talking about policy, it doesn't have to do with the federal legislation alone. We are talking about some form of gender responsive policies, be it in the workplace environment, in businesses areas. We talk about where business owners put in place some laws and policies that advance the cause of women. For instance, we talk about equal pay rights, we talk about maternity leave, we talk about a host of them. So it's not, when you're looking at laws and policy, it goes beyond the federal laws. So we need to bring it down to even workplace policy.
Okay, that's where I'm more interested in, the workplace violence. Are there violence in workplaces against women?
Okay. All right. That question is, I don't know, it's not actually funny, but it is a very serious question. Yes, there are sexual harassment, there are other forms of abuses and harassment that goes on in the workplace environment. And that is a fact. It is not a myth, it's a fact. All around the globe, this thing is what happens every day. Women experiences workplace violence in all forms. And sometimes this thing comes in a subtle manner. Sometimes it's not pronounced. These abuses occurs in forms of payments. Some organizations, you don't have equal pay policy. I'm carrying out my work as expected. You are seeing results, but because I'm a woman, I am not entitled to some benefits, some allowances, and these are abuses. They are all abuses. So sometimes it doesn't even come directly; it comes in a subtle manner, either in forms of comments. Oh, why should you take this role? No, you shouldn't take this role. It's not meant for women. Or travel allowance, a whole lot of them. So,
but somehow, some people in some workplaces, they will say women enjoy more than the men in workplaces. When you talk about maternity leave and the rest of them, and the workload also, some people might say that women benefit more from organizations than men. Is that true?
It depends. Honestly, I would say that statement might not totally be true because it depends on the kind of work, or it depends on the policy that is being put in place. For instance, let's talk about maternity leave. Some men don't even want to request for maternity leave. So it's more of a, let's say, cultural or social norm. Like I'm going for maternity leave. A lot of men wouldn't even want to come forward and say to their bosses or their line manager that I want to take maternity leave. So it's not as a function of gender. It's a social stereotype. It's a cultural thing. It's rooted in our different ways of life. So it's not a woman thing, honestly, I've worked in different corporate organizations. It's really difficult to see men come for maternity leave. Sometimes when they say maternity leave, okay, yes, it's particular to women, but some policies have been advanced to even include paternity leave. Like in Lagos State, there is paternity leave. Yes, I know offices, some establishments in Lagos State that gives my paternity leave.
I need to work there.
Then men still don't, request for this leave because they feel they are men. They should have been going on paternity leave. Even the word paternity leave, sounds, So it's a lot of relearning, unlearning. We have a lot of relearning and unlearning to do in terms of paternity leave or maternity leave. Yeah.
Okay. Now, having said that, we have something going on in the country now, in the Senate chambers. Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan and the allegation of sexual harassment and the rest of them against the Senate president. But according to her, when she went to IPU to report her case, she said she was treated somehow because of the sexual harassment. But this morning, the Senate spokesperson has come out to say it's not about sexual harassment. It's all about breaking the rules of the Senate. So, and in that Senate, 109 senators, we have about 4 women.
Yeah.
So, is it that women shy away
from
leadership or some positions, or that they are not aware that they are this also inclusive in their constitutional rights?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Okay, so like you say, the statistics are glaring. We have 109 senators, and then we have only 4 who are women. So it speaks volume about how we take women in leadership in our country, Nigeria, that we have only 4 women in the highest, lawmaking space. So it speaks volume of the kind of society we have and how we place women in our society. Okay, so some of personally, I don't think women do not understand that they have a right to be at the highest leadership, or even whatever leadership cadre. And I do not think that women do not understand that they have a right. But who are the people to put women on the seats? It's still you and I. It's still you and I. Who are the people to campaign? It's still you and I. Who are the people? So a lot of relearning needs to be done. We need to advocate for more women in leadership. We need to speak up that we need women's representation. For instance, having a minister as having a man as a minister for women affairs, or it's somehow. So we need more women in the position of leadership, and it starts from the family, it starts from the workplace, it starts from our different community. Even if women do not see themselves, which I do not believe, we need to be intentional in making sure that some seats are reserved for women. We need to be intentional in making sure that women need to, to be represented in specific, in a specific room. For instance, for the case of Senator Natasha, that's, it's an obvious thing that it's, okay, yeah, I would say that the response was that it was not as a result of, the sexual allegation is that, but you and I know what is obtainable. We know what is going on. Yes, it could be as a result of the previous issues, or maybe the previous issue concerning seats change. It could be, but then everyone we recognize that there are underlying issues. Human beings, we have blood running in our veins. And you and I do not know the peak at which you can absorb some nasty treatment. So it could be that it was a break point was at the point where she, lashed out about the underlying sexual harassment that has been going on. So that's a human being. So another thing in our society is that we fail to understand is that we look at sexual issue as a women issue. It is not. It is a human rights violation. It goes, so this habit of it's a woman's thing, it's a girl child thing. No, it is a human rights violation. We need to understand that it is wrong. It is wrong. Even the Constitution has provided for the protection of human dignity. So once that dignity is taken, that means the rights of a person, not necessarily a woman, has been violated. And we need to, do more public awareness of the rights of individual persons, not necessarily because that person is a woman. We need to understand that